Welcome to the Fit Girl Magic podcast. If you are ready to find your inner magic, develop great habits, and a rock-steady mindset to feel confident, comfortable, and fit in your body, you are in the right place. I am Kim Barnes Jefferson, and I'll be giving you weekly doses of health, fitness, and life tips sprinkled with humor and real talk. If you're ready to be consistent without the stress of perfection, magic makers, it's time to slip into your favorite pair of PJs, grab some coffee, kick back, and listen to today's show.
Hey, Magic Makers. Today's episode is pretty much a public service announcement for every woman who just keeps saying, oh my God, it's just stress. Whatever it is, I can handle it. Spoiler alert. We are walking around with stress like it is an emotional support animal. And we are wondering why our sleep, our mood are trash, why we can't lose the weight, and we just feel like an overall hot mess. I have Justin High here, and he's here just to blow your mind. This man fell down the cortisol rabbit hole and came back with some receipts. We're talking why your body melts down over a text from the school nurse, why you're waking up at 2 a.m. trying to solve all the world's problems, and why your hormones are ready to file a complaint with HR. He breaks down how modern life is just hijacking our sleep, wrecking our hormones, and convincing your body is running from a saber-toothed tiger, even when you're just doom scrolling in bed. He drops the simplest, most unsexy truth bombs of all. If your sleep is trash, your hormones don't stand a chance. And for those of you guys like, oh, I just need to go on some supplements, some HRT or whatever, this guy is just going to blow it away in a funny, eye-opening, and slightly uncomfortable way. It is the oh crap, he's talking to me kind of podcast today. So let's get into it. All right. I want to thank Miss Clara B. Lee from the Philippines. I've gone international, y'all. She leaves a great review here for me. She says so many valuable health tips that you can learn from. It is a must listen. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much. Again, I appreciate every single review that comes my way. It tells me that I'm giving you the information that you're looking for, the information that you're yearning for. I know that when I was in my, perimenopausal journey, I just was like, where can I turn to? What information can I find? And I'm grateful that I am giving that to you. These reviews mean the world to me. They light me up that I'm able to help you in any way possible. So if you are listening to this, do me a favor, head over to iTunes and leave me a review. If you're like, girl, I don't know how to do that, reach out to me. I will help you get that done. Have a great day and enjoy the rest of the show. All right, Magic Makers, I have an awesome guy on, and he's also written a really good book all about stress. I know you're like, Kim, you talk about stress all the time. I have to keep talking about stress until you stop saying this is my life, right? We are diving into it because it is a sneaky saboteur that's messing with your sleep, your mood, your weight, and your belly fat. And all of y'all are like, this is just what it is. It is not how it is. And I brought Justin here on the show. He's written an amazing book talking about how we are so hooked into stress that it's pretty much like a baby. It's our child. We're carrying it around and we no longer need to carry it around. So Justin, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, Kim.
I'm sure like you're probably that person. And I know that your wife had an issue, but I'm sure you were that person just like all of us was like, this is just how life is. Like, what's real stress anyway? Did something have to literally slap you in the face before you realize like stress is a bigger issue than we'd make it out to be?
What was interesting, I was just going on with my life and my career, and, an opportunity fell into my lap to do some research for a new venture. And I was looking into supplements for skincare at the time. And I was like, I get what the company wants to do. They're trying to piggyback off Nutrafol, which is a supplement for hair. But I'm not sure that there's a direct correlation between a tablet or a pill or a supplement for skin that can go mainstream and rival skincare companies, which was the objective. And I was always interested in endocrinology, and I pivoted and I started doing a deep dive, and I fell in love with cortisol. It just was something that intrigued me, and in a very big way.
Hey, Magic Makers, quick interruption here. I wanted to tell you something that I'm working on this winter. I am stepping into my build phase. Yep, this midlife body is about to stack on some muscle, and I want to take you with me. And here's the thing. We're not building muscle to look cute in a bikini. I mean, that's a side effect. We're building it so that we can be the strongest golden girl on the block. The ones who carry Costco level groceries without breaking a sweat. The ones who actually feel good in our bodies instead of negotiating with our backs every time we go to stand up. And because I know you're busy, here's the kicker. You can get this done in 3 days a week and spend less than an hour at the gym. Plus, it's also set up that you can do it using dumbbells at your home gym. That's it, right? We're not trying to set you up to be a fitness hostage situation here. The whole vibe is, how do we become strong by spring? We get 3 non-negotiables, 1 daily, 2 weekly, simple, doable, repeatable, and absolutely made for your real life. No hustle culture. We're not detoxing. It's just consistency and muscle that works in the real world. If you've been craving strength, sanity, and oh, wow, I got my groove back feeling, come with me. We are building, we are showing up, and we are going to be strong by spring together. All right. If this sounds like you, do me a favor. Click the link in the show notes. All right, let's get back to the show.
At the same time, I was fascinated with all the peptides on the market that were out in 2018, 2017, and were perfectly legitimate to take. And then the government reclassified everything as biologics in 2019 and to 2020. And basically that meant that you weren't allowed to take them, or a doctor wasn't allowed to prescribe them, so to speak. They were for research purposes only. And that further just fueled my passion. Like, okay, what is going on? And then all of a sudden you started hearing about everyone going on HRT.
Yes.
Right, everyone was on either testosterone or progesterone or bioidentical hormones, and I'm like, something's up.
Yeah.
As I kept on going deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole, I realized through education and learning from people far smarter than I, speaking to lots of doctors, that almost every molecule in your body has a cortisol receptor. No other hormone functions that way. And so when cortisol is elevated, you feel it from your head to your toe. You feel it systemically everywhere. And what's really interesting is people know it as the stress hormone, but it's also a very good hormone for blood sugar and all kinds of other benefits for the heart, right? Blood pressure and so forth. And so at the end of the day, what I looked at was, wow, cortisol is like truly elevated in everybody. And right, it was the why. That was what I was fascinated in. Why is it elevated? And what's the direct reaction that cortisol has on the body other than putting you in this fight or flight response? And it came down to some really big aha moments that just slapped me hard. And it wasn't like I hadn't known about them or realized them, but the combination of putting them together was like, oh my God, what is happening? And here it is. Here's your aha moment, Kim. When cortisol is elevated and stays elevated, it's difficult for you to fall asleep. It's difficult for you to fall asleep. And guess what we make in our sleep?
Hormones.
All our hormones. Pretty much. All our sex hormones, at least. And so an adult needs 7 to 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep. Clinically, if you wake up once in the night, it's diagnosed as a poor night's sleep. So 7 to 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep enables your body to naturally produce the hormones that you need to function the next day. If you don't get the 7 to 8 hours of sleep, you're at a hormone deficit. You have too many consecutive nights, you're just going on this downward spiral. And that was the aha moment for me. It was like, of course, that makes perfect sense, right? Yeah. It makes perfect sense. And everyone has a unique ratio of hormones unique to them, kind of like your thumbprint, right? Yeah. No, you can say your estrogen, progesterone, thyroid, testosterone ratio is Y. There's no test to tell you what it is, right? What they'll do is they'll do a blood hormone panel test, and then ask you all the subjective questions. How are you sleeping? How's your weight? How's your energy? How's your mood? How's your libido? And based on that, the doctors will give an educated recommendation on what HRT protocols or supplementation you should go on. And then in 90 days' time, come back and repeat it again, because it's one big experiment, one human at a time.
Right, exactly.
Right? That's what it is. And so really what it comes down to is if you're not getting your sleep, you're not making your hormones that you need to function. And now you're going to have all the symptoms that you talked about at the beginning. You're going to have brain fog, weight gain, muscle mass loss. You're going to have low libido. You're going to have increased appetite. You're not going to have, as much energy as you'd like. You won't recover so quickly, and so on and so on. And of course, if you're in perimenopause, hot flashes and all the other symptoms that go along with it. And that's wonderful, right? So now we have this cause and effect that we all know about, right? There's nothing newsworthy that I've come up with here. This is just a causation. I ask myself, why? Why is this the case? Why now? And as I did some more and more research, I came up with a theory that I believe is correct, and which is why I wrote the book Stress Nation. It's because of technology. It's pretty straightforward. When I was a kid in the 70s and the 80s,
we had a TV.
We played outside. We played with sticks and stones and mud and anything you could find, right?
And you had 5 channels.
Well, more than that, at midnight, do you remember the national anthem came on, the flag was waving, and then it went to snow? You couldn't stop and watch TV at 1 a.m. It wasn't available.
Right.
Right? I mean, yeah, if you had a VCR, you could watch a movie, but essentially that was it. You didn't have unlimited streaming content. You couldn't binge watch. You couldn't, doom scroll. You couldn't do all the stuff that people do today. Right? You couldn't look into other people's
lives.
You look at their lives, because it's not really their real lives, right? It's what they want you.
Exactly. It's my curated life.
Exactly. It's my, architected wishful life, right? And so you didn't have that. And furthermore, we weren't subjected to doomsday information all the time. The news is, right? There was a news hour, not a news channel.
Right. Where 24 hours, I could get sucked into the pain and misery of anyone across the world.
Exactly. And we were also contained to somewhat a bubble in our community, in our town. We weren't really that savvy to what was going on around us because we didn't have that reach. So all this has evolved since basically the late 90s, right? When the iPhone was invented and the iPod and everything started coming out in 2000s. And now we've been sucked into this kind of rat race of information, of content, whether it's entertainment, whether it's gaming, whether it's news, whether it's work related, whether it's family related. The ability to communicate and get content is so rampant. We don't know when to stop.
Yes.
And we have become addicted to it. And so my book, Stress Nation, I actually have a little copy here. It's available to pre-order on Amazon, comes out in September. Stress Nation is all about is not just complaining, right? I'm giving you real solutions to it. I started a supplement company called Rebalance Health based on supporting lowering cortisol. I've written a book about the why behind Rebalance. And it's very logical steps. The problem is not everyone's willing to take those logical steps, okay? You have to protect your sleep. If there's one piece of information that you take away from this podcast, is that your sleep is the most important part of the day.
Yeah.
And you start preparing for sleep the moment you wake up.
You're the second, I had someone talk about sleep on the show. You're the second person who said, you prepare for sleep the moment you wake up. Yep. And it was very interesting because you think about how your day starts, and most people don't think about how their day ends.
Yeah, you definitely want to protect the last 3 hours before you actually go to bed and have a regimen around that. And
yes.
The new trendy word is sleep hygiene, right? That's the new phrase that everyone's talking about. And what that means is we're all aware of blue light. We all know about the frequencies that are being emitting from our light bulbs to our screens and our devices that stimulate cortisol in the body. That's what the blue light is doing. It emulates the sun. And so it tricks the body into thinking that it's the different time of the day and you release more cortisol. So you want to really be mindful of your screen time. You want to be mindful of what you're mentally engaging in prior to going to bed. Because you want to bring your cortisol up in the morning, kind of leveling off in the afternoon, coming down. And by the time it's bedtime, you want it to be as low as possible. And I give a great example, right? I've got 2 kids, and it doesn't matter how old they are or how young they are. When I got a phone call and the caller ID said it was the school, my cortisol goes through the roof, right? There's something happened. Oh my God, you start worrying, right? That's a perfect example. You are not in control of cortisol. Cortisol is in control of you, and it's based around your environment.
Yeah.
External forces have an impact on your body. And that's what causes cortisol. The fire alarm goes off, boom. If you're in a traffic jam and you're late, boom, it goes up. If you get a phone call and you missed it, you've been waiting, boom, your cortisol goes up, right? The dog could just be barking, then you could be on a podcast, your cortisol's going to go up.
Right. You're like, oh my God, am I ruining podcasts because, Joey is barking?
Exactly. And so really, it's really difficult to control. And one would say, yes, you can meditate. And my wife is maniacal for meditation. But the second she comes out of meditation and the dog barks, boom, her cortisol goes right back up.
So you go from Zen to 60.
100%, right? And so in order to control it, you've got to be mindful of what goes on around you. And we developed a formulation to support cortisol rebalance, and we have a lozenge system that you take throughout the day. And the reason you take it throughout the day is because you have a metabolism. Right. And most supplement companies, they're talking baloney, let's be honest. They're all nonsense, right? They all take studies that were done by somebody else and said, I have the same ingredients and therefore I have the same results. But you forgot to test your product. That's the whole point. If you don't test your product, you cannot make that claims. You cannot. And that is what majority of supplement companies are doing. And we didn't. We formulated our own proprietary blend. It's what we came up with, not what some third party did and we slapped a label on. It's our blend, and we tested it. And we didn't just test it in a lab. We actually sent it out for clinical studies like pharmaceuticals. Right. So we have a double-blind placebo IOB study. We have a blind placebo. We have an open label, and we have a whole bunch of in-house studies as well. And all the IOBs have been published in high-end medical journals, right? The medical journal Nutraceuticals and Food Science, right? For example, or we were invited to present our findings in our study to the North American Menopause Society. Right? Because our results are real. And what we found was our product helps keep cortisol at bay, right? So it gives you that little extra protection because look, we're not going to stop using our phones. We're not going to stop using our... And so we have to kind of learn to moderate that, but at the same token, use other, available resources to support it. And Rebalance Health is a very viable, medically proven resource to help support cortisol. And you take the lozenges, they're mint lozenges, you take them throughout the day like you would a cough drop or a cough lozenge that you would suck on to soothe your throat. And the reason why we take it throughout the day is you have a metabolism. It's forgotten you have a metabolism. So if you take a product or a supplement for cortisol in the morning, well, 6 hours later, it's not in your body and it's not going to do you any good. And cortisol is doing this all day long. Up and down, up and down. And so you take the lozenges as you need them. And as we started releasing the product, we started getting phone calls from women and men, but predominantly women going, you're not going to believe this, but my hot flashes have gone away. My mental clarity has improved. My libido has come back. My vaginal dryness has gone away. My hair and skin and nails are looking better. And we're like, fabulous. I have no idea what you're talking about. We know that cortisol helps.
We were going for cortisol.
Right, but we know cortisol had an effect on the whole body, right? Like I said, helps you sleep and then helps your body make more of the hormones that your body needs. And so after getting about 50 of those phone calls and emails, we're like, okay, we really got to do a study on this. And so we did a study on it. And lo and behold, by reducing cortisol and supporting better quality, longer lasting sleep, your body is able to make the hormones naturally. And guess what? The exacerbated symptoms from perimenopause start to diminish. And out of over 384 women in our study, we had 100% efficacy, meaning every single woman saw an average reduction of 80% in their hot flashes.
You know what? It's as you're saying this, and I'm kind of like replaying my hot flash journey. I think about the times that I got hot flashes, and there were times with things I didn't think I was being stressed. And it was, as you were kind of talking about, I'm like, yeah, like for me, my body's going to register that this is a stressful event. I don't think it's stressful to talk to you. This is fun for me. But my body's like, girl, you're trying to ask a good question. You're trying to make sure the audio's clear. And that's stressful. So like all of a sudden I probably would start sweating. And if I think most women are, if you listen to this, and if you think about when your hot flashes come up, it could be you're driving in traffic and you're like, what's stressful about this? You know, and as you said, you get the phone call from your kid's school. You're like, oh crap, like what's wrong? Right. So, you know, it's really interesting that you saw that kind of like causation, because most people, when you hear about on the interwebs about cortisol, most people relate it to like the most random shit, like cortisol face or just belly fat, where, you know, you're like, this is going to impact your entire life.
Right. Yeah. And cortisol face is the biggest bunch of nonsense I've ever heard of in my life.
Oh my God. Like we could have a whole podcast on all the bullshit.
It started off on TikTok and it just spread and the media picked it up and ran with it. And it is a bunch of hooey. I can tell you that right now. Yes, if you have Cushing's, yes, you can most certainly have a swelling of the face. But the way that it was presented in the masses is because you woke up puffy and all of a sudden it's cortisol. It's got nothing to do with cortisol.
Could be that you had a little bit too much wine last night.
Yeah, too much sodium, too much wine, whatever. You were hot, it was humid. It's not cortisol face. It is just you woke up puffy. Let's call it what it is, right? And the people that actually have Cushing's, it's insulting because that is detrimental to their life. And it's been made fun of literally in the media. It's not cortisol face, people. Okay? Right.
And if you had Cushing's, you would have a litany of other issues other than a puffy face.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know, the critical thing to learn here is that we've been thrown in the deep end. Literally, it's only been 30 years. It hasn't been that long, 25 years, right? Where we've had this amazing technology at our fingertips, right? We weren't taught how to use it as it pertains to the human need for circadian rhythm. And that's it. And so if you think about it, were we designed to sit in front of screens and be addicted and doom scroll? No, we weren't. Right? We need to move. We need to be outside. We need to have some sun. But like I said, it's not going away. So we need to learn how to use it responsibly, right? We talk about, you know, standing desks as opposed to sitting anymore, right? It's the same concept. Have to step away from device and technology. And it's important to start putting things into priorities. And Apple knew this, right? They came out with screen time on their devices. But everyone said, it's for the kids. No, it's for everyone.
Or the parents who are like maniacal about Johnny, you know, you only get 20 minutes of screen time or whatever parents are telling their kids. Yet here I am, I'm answering emails, I'm scrolling TikTok, I'm sending texts, right? But like Johnny can only have 20 minutes.
Exactly. Because let's do as I say, not what I do, right? That's the mantra. But it's the same thing as it pertains to, you know, how you live the rest of your life. Okay. Yeah. The older you get, the harder it is, the more strict you should become on yourself. Okay. Everyone asks about diet, exercise. I've even had reporters contact us and say, can you tell us what the best time to go to bed is? Right. I'm like, that's the wrong question.
Right? Well, everyone wants like the magic answer. If you said go to bed at 10 o'clock, that would be the highlight.
No, it's just go to bed so that you can be successful in obtaining 7 to 8 hours of sleep. That's the objective. If you go to bed, because people work night shifts, some people are on opposite shifts, right? I mean, it's everyone's unique. But if you live by the rule that you need to protect sleep, you need 7 to 8 hours of you know, literally uninterrupted sleep. And I know that sounds almost impossible for the majority of people because we've been so used to living without that.
Yep.
Last 30 years. You go back 50 years, yeah, we've got 7 to 8 hours sleep. It was easy.
Or it was the whole like, I'll sleep when I'm dead kind of mentality.
right? You can pivot to that, to people that are saying that, to be a successful entrepreneur and CEO, you need to be doing 18, 19 hours, 20 hours. No, do you want to drive your kids when you've operated on 4 hours of sleep? No, you don't. No. So why would you run your company that way? No, you need to sleep. It's not a badge of honor. It's almost a badge of ignorance.
Right. And, I'm going to really hit on that sleep piece, because I see people nodding along like, Justin, I get you. I feel you. But I've always been a bad sleeper, right? That's always what I hear when I'm like, do you have a bedtime? I'm like, set a bedtime. Like you're a 9-year-old kid and get your ass in bed. And most people look at me like I'm, crazy. And I'm like, if you need 8 hours of sleep, get in 10. If you're go to bed at 10, you're in bed at 9. And you're just literally telling your body it's time to land the plane. But most people are like thinking that you immediately have to get in bed and like you're asleep, but that's just not how it works.
Well, you don't go from 100 to 0 instantly, right? That's why the sleep hygiene and the routine is important.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to start building a routine that makes sense. Like have a hot bath or a steam or a shower, whatever it is. Meditate, wind down, read a book. Just start to wind down, turn off the devices, the TVs and so forth, and get yourself into that routine. Work out in the morning, not in the evening. Why? Exercise stimulates cortisol. Don't have a big meal and drink lots of food and water and alcohol and all that before you go to bed. That's going to guarantee to wake you up, because the older we get, the less our bladders can hold.
Yeah.
So you try and eat earlier. And it's a joke. Everyone goes, it's a blue light special. You go eat dinner at 5 o'clock. Yeah, for good reason. You want to go to bed 4 to 5 hours later so your body has a chance to process, utilize that food, and you're empty. You go to bed empty so that you won't be woken up by your body that's aging. And that's just not meant to be insulting or depressing. That's just biology.
No, it's funny. I've seen a couple of memes that say like, for all the people that I told that you eat dinner at 6 o'clock and I called you an old lady, I apologize, because because it's true. And I find on the, I will admit I'm a late eater, and it's just because I work late, and I'm like, but it's not ever, but it's like, I'm like, I accept that, and it is what it is, but it's only a couple of nights a week. But for most part, I've been pushing my dinners up a bit. But there are other people who are listening, and they're like, I just waking up in the morning to work out, just not in the cards for me, or lunchtime workouts are just not in the card to me. Are you discouraging them that like they shouldn't work out at night, or just be like, maybe they do a different style workout if they are working out at night?
It's really what it comes down to is you should be lifting weights, right? This cardio thing doesn't make any sense. It doesn't work. Okay. Nor does intermittent fasting. That doesn't work. And so it's the facts are pretty straightforward. It takes your body literally 3 minutes to start breaking down muscle, and it takes about 4 to 5 hours to break down fat. If you haven't eaten something before you work out, you got about 20 minutes of glucose in your system before your body starts eating the muscle. And so it's not helping you. It's not helping you. It helps for the very obese people, yes, but everyone else doesn't help. And everyone's on the thing. It's science. It's not even up for debate. Well, my body works this way. No, you're losing muscle mass simply because your body has to have a food source and you haven't given it one. So what is the answer to your question is, look, if you go for a walk, that's fine. If you do a 10K, nah, that's not a good idea. You're going to lift heavy weights for 2 hours before you go to bed? No, you're going to get a cortisol spike. You're going to find it difficult to fall asleep and stay asleep. And so it's about finding something that works for you in your life, right? There's no hard and fast rules. There's guidelines. And the guidelines are try not to eat within 4 hours of going to bed. Try not to drink a lot of fluids within 4 hours of going to bed. Try not to drink alcohol within 4 hours of going to bed. Yeah, you don't have to be perfect. You're going to have fun on the weekend. Have fun on the weekend. You're going to go to a party. go to a party, but expect that you're going to have a rougher night than if you didn't. And that's fine, right? I'm not suggesting everyone be a Buddhist monk, right? I'm suggesting that everyone understand the cause and effect of what happens, the consequence. Should I eat that salad or should I have that pizza? We know the answer. We make choices every day. I'm going to have the pizza. I'm going to not feel great. Fine. That's fine. But I'm going to enjoy it and I'm not going to have guilt around it. Great. You know the choices you should make. So this is part of that process. And sleep is something that hasn't been given the full credit that it deserves as it pertains to cortisol, hormone balancing, etc. But make no mistake. You make your hormones in your sleep. If you're not sleeping, you're not making hormones, and that's why you feel like shit.
Yeah. And you said earlier that a good night's sleep starts the moment that you wake up. So can we expand on that?
Yeah, set yourself up for success. Understand that you're protecting your sleep. And so with Rebalance Health, we have these lozenges, and we want you to take them in because we're keeping your cortisol within the normal levels.
Gotcha.
We don't want your cortisol going up high because now you're going to have a lot more sporadic within your you can come down like a sugar crash. It's like a cortisol crash. You come crash, you down, you feel exhausted. And all of a sudden now something happens, you go back up again. So what Rebalance is doing with our supplementation, which is all from, Ayurvedic or Chinese herbs inside of them. So we have like ashwagandha, maca, L-theanine, bacopa, oat straw, zinc, magnesium, etc. All these wonderful ingredients and the mushrooms you can imagine in a condensed lozenge that tastes like a mint. What that's doing is helping you stay more even. And that's what we hear all the time. I have less highs and I have much less lows. I'm much more even and I'm calmer. I have more mental clarity and I fall asleep and I sleep like I've never slept before. We did a 2000 night study led by Sleep Score, one of the biggest sleep institutes in America. They published a study saying of all the supplements out there, this is one of the strongest and the best based on the outcomes of the study. And it's available online, of course, to see that. It's all about sleep. It all comes down to sleep. And so what do you have to do in order to optimize your day so that you can live this more balanced life? Well, it starts with acknowledging that technology is kind of the root of this pandemic that's going on. And then you understand the cause and effect, which is what the book goes into. And you can support that with a product like Rebalance to help keep you a lot more even. Yeah. But let me just give you a few more issues. That stubborn belly fat that you spoke about at the beginning, it's cortisol. Primarily. Why? When your cortisol is high, your body is being told, hey, there's an emergency, there's an alert, there's something happening here, right? And then typically adrenaline kicks in and you jump into action for whatever emergency there might be. But if there's no emergency, right, you're not going to get that adrenaline spike, right? You're just always in a state of anxiety and panic. And so your cortisol is elevated. Well, when your cortisol is elevated, it turns off, when you're in fight and flight, it turns off some bodily functions that it doesn't think you need.
Right.
One of them is metabolism.
Yeah.
It turns off your metabolism. Why? Because, back in the day, we were saving ourselves from a saber-toothed tiger or a woolly mammoth or what have you. We didn't know when our next meal was going to come from. So our body is designed to hold on to everything because it doesn't know when we're going to get fed next. That's an ancestry trait that we have built into our DNA. And so when cortisol is high and we're in fight or flight, metabolism shuts down. And if you're always in a high cortisol environment because of technology, guess what? You're eating food, your metabolism burning it off, and you're getting bigger simply because your body's holding on to it. And the same exact theory is in line with libido. My libido turned off. Why? Well, I don't need libido if I'm running from a saber-toothed tiger. Right. And so, yeah, that's why we kind of lost our edge, our sexiness, our mojo, whatever you want to call it. It's because we're up here in our cortisol levels because of technology. And yeah, we've lost our mojo. And of course, let's not pretend that we're not numb to overexposure to sexual content, which is everyone senses anyway.
Yeah. So one of the things you said that I found very interesting is that menopausal women get the short end of the stick when it comes to cortisol.
Oh, yeah.
And, why is that? It's a hormonal thing. It's a stress thing. Like, what is it that, hits that group of women differently?
It's sleep. I mean, everything is the same. There's nothing special about the cortisol effect and how it impacts sleep. Everyone's the same. But perimenopausal women suffer like no one else suffers. I mean, let's be honest. Their symptoms are horrific.
Wow.
I actually put myself through an artificial stimulation by taking my estrogen to 0 for a month. And I had hot flashes literally every 30 to 45 minutes. And it was horrific. So I couldn't imagine going through it for 7 to 14 years. I mean, come on. It's not even a joke. I mean, it's not even something that was funny. It was like, this sucks. This just sucks. I forget sleeping. Forget sleeping. And so it's all about protecting sleep. And so taking the lozenges and having a good mindful approach to your lifestyle and understanding what is affecting these exacerbated symptoms is very important. And I have a whole chapter on perimenopause in my book and talking about how you can put into practice some little simple tips every day that'll help you bring that cortisol level down so that you can actually get a better night's sleep. And then you see those hot flashes go away. But I mean, we had one woman reach out to us and she's like, I'm spending like $500 a month with buying every freaking product I can find. She goes, I was on the porch of my house. It was snowing. It was a blizzard outside. I was in a tank top and shorts with a fan around my neck and I was sweating bullets. Yeah. Right. And her name was Carla, right? And Carla was telling me all about this. And I have tried everything. She goes, I'm going to try it just because you're next on my list anyway. But she goes, I don't have any hope. And within literally a few weeks, she called me back and go, you've changed my life. You've literally changed my life because it's the only thing that works.
It is life changing because like you mentioned, you have this hot flash in the middle of the night. And by the time, depending on how severe it is, by the time you fall back asleep, it can start all over again. Or I'm changing my clothes, I'm changing my sheets. And you talk about trying to get 7 hours of sleep, like, good Lord, that's just not going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. And then, guys can't relate. Unless you do something stupid like me and take your estrogen to 0, you have no absolute comprehension of the severity it is. And yeah, you're walking around like a zombie. Absolutely. And then you have mental clarity issues, libido issues, you have weight gain issues, muscle mass issues. It's just not fun. It's just not fun. And not to be taken seriously, that's going to be infuriating.
Oh, it's so maddening because you're just like, especially, I don't know if you're here in the US, but it's going to take me 6+ months to get an appointment. And this whole time you're just like, this is the answer. The 6 months is the answer. And you sit across from Dr. So-and-so and they're like, you're just perimenopausal. Oh,
I know.
You're not 25 anymore. And you're just like, how do I not lose my stuff in this room right now and go to jail?
I'm surprised that most doctors don't have like black eyes or slap marks around their faces.
I think because we're afraid to go to jail. I think that's why.
I can't believe, I mean, look, number one, HRT works. And I'm a big proponent of HRT, right? But it has to be administered by someone that actually knows what they're doing, which unfortunately isn't the majority of doctors that are administering it, right? You need the full hormone panel. You need the 90 days and come back and redo it. You need someone there who's willing to be empathetic, understanding, and support you through it. But I hear so many stories of women saying, well, my doctor just wants to put me on birth control.
Yes.
It's a form of HRT, right? It totally is. And there's literally tons of different variations of birth control between estrogen, progesterone, and so forth. But you really do need to have those hormonal the blood work done and monitored properly. And then doctors can really work miracles. But there is a large double digit, like 25% of the population, they can't go on HRT because of cancer risks and other hereditary things in their family. And so at that point, they're literally said, good luck. Right? Good luck to you because you're going through menopause and, we'll see you at the other end. That's not a very nice thing.
No.
It's not a very nice thing.
It's kind of like the Hunger Games. It's like, may the odds be in your favor. Like,
I totally get it. And again, having gone through hot flashes for a month, and I don't even claim to even know what perimenopause feels like, but I had one symptom, right, which was the hot flashes. It was unbearable. And so I get it. And to be able to get phone calls and testimonials and emails from our customers on a weekly basis, almost daily basis, saying, you've changed my life. My family likes me again. My libido's back. My hot flashes have gone away. You know, I even had one woman say that it was kind of funny. Her kid said, Mommy, did you take your magic lozenges today? Because the kids could notice a difference in the behavior patterns. Right. But really, yes, I have a product. Yes, I have lozenges. Yes, I have science. And I'm probably the only supplement company in the world with 4 and almost 5 IRB clinical studies. But if you want to take one thing away that has nothing to do with my book or my products, it's sleep. It's do whatever you can in your life to protect sleep. It is the most important thing for your chi, your mojo, your energy. It all comes from sleep. That's where we regenerate as human beings. And we have forgotten this. TV and vices and computers and phones and social media has become more important.
Yeah.
That needs to change. Once you fix that, everything else will start to fall in line. Diet, really, whatever diet you're going to stick to, whatever exercise you're going to stick to is the best one for you, right? But I can tell you this, lifting weights takes top priority over any other exercise you could possibly do. Simply because as you get older, you lose muscle mass, your bones get brittle. And once you lift weights and you put everything under load, you start to strengthen the bones, you start to strengthen the muscles. Nothing is better than lifting weights. Stop doing cardio. It isn't helping you. Just go for a walk.
Yeah.
It's more important to lift weights.
So, you talk about rebalance being very good for women, but I'm assuming men have as much of a cortisol spike as women. So it is both for both men and women.
Yeah. So I have a product. I have a product called Man Mints, which is for men. And of course, I have a product called Mellow Mints. And Mellow Mints is for everybody. And it's just to help calm you down and to support you and help you with sleep. And if you are going through perimenopause, menopause, we have Mellow Mints. And then at night, we recommend Dream, which is our sleep product with and without melatonin. And by the way, you should cycle on and off melatonin. Yeah. It is the only hormone in your body that your body will always make. But with the onset of all these supplements pushing melatonin for sleep, including children, Sleep Gummy Melatonin, which that company should be just shut down. You're basically giving your kids hormones, right? That's what melatonin, it's a hormone. Melatonin's a hormone. You're giving kids HRT. You shouldn't be doing that.
Right.
What is melatonin? Melatonin helps prepare your body for sleep. It doesn't actually put you to sleep. It prepares your body to sleep, gets you in that twilight state so that you can fall into a nice sleep pattern. The problem with melatonin is your body gets used to higher dosages, right? It builds up a tolerance like you would with alcohol. You build a tolerance. And so it's important that you don't keep climbing that ladder and you need more and more and more and more and more. Your body will always make the baseline. And so you go on melatonin, off melatonin. We recommend every 2 to 3 to 4 weeks as you should cycle. I personally like melatonin free. It works wonders for me. But if I know I've had a really stressful day and, it didn't work out the way I wanted to, I was on the computer, I was working late, my kids had an emergency, I will take the melatonin one because that will actually help me fall asleep faster and keep me asleep. And so what is the key with all these products? They all do the same thing. They bring cortisol down.
Right.
They're tweaked slightly. So we've got ingredients specifically for men in the Man Mints, right? So Horny Goat Weed and Testo Surge designed to help boost testosterone in men specifically, right? Horny Goat Weed doesn't work for women. In the perimenopausal supplementation and in the Mellow Mints, we have things like bacopa and oat straw, which help calm down the nervous system. And I can give a real good analogy as to why that's important. Women's nervous systems are like running at 1,000 miles an hour and men's are running at 10. And we need to calm women's nervous systems down. And that's because you're so in tune with your hormones, right? Whether Any woman in my life can tell me when their cycles come in, if something's not right, if their breasts are tender. They know. You're so in tune with your body. You know when something's not right. Men, we have no freaking clue.
Nope.
We are absolute Neanderthal.
Unless you're bleeding from the eye.
Unless our penises aren't erect, then it's the end of the world. And now there's 50 blend medications that we can get for that, right? So the first thing men notice is I can't get a hard on, I'm losing my hair, I'm gaining weight, right? It's the same stuff, but we still suffer from brain fog. We still suffer from muscle mass loss, weight gain. We still suffer from hot flashes, believe it or not. The husband ever throwing the covers off in the night just because he's hot? He blamed you, the thermostat, or something else. He was having a hot flash, but it was at a very small level, like 1% of the woman experience would be, because we are having the same testosterone, estrogen, progesterone drop as we enter our 40s and 50s as women are experiencing. It's just at a much, 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 much smaller scale. And there's a small percentage of men that suffer like women do with hot flashes, and it's unbearable for them as well. But it's very few and far between. So yes, men suffer in the same way women do, but at a different scale. Men enter andropause in their mid-30s, and it goes through their mid-70s. We experience it for a much longer period of time. Women experience it in a much shorter period of time, but it all happens at the same time. So that's why the symptoms are exacerbated by so much. But if you break it all down, technology has gotten in the way of our sleep. By raising our cortisol levels, we make our hormones in our sleep, and that's why everyone is suffering so much with all these symptoms. It's that simple. You just have to fix your life to accommodate for that interruption.
Right. So you talk about, the light exposure, in the book, you talk about the light exposure is really wrecking our circadian rhythm. So the big takeaway that I'm getting is that we are truly hurting ourselves with these, Netflix binges or TikTok scrolls or whatever, 3 hours before bed.
For sure. How many people have been on the toilet with their phone scrolling and their legs have gone numb? Come on, everyone's done it.
Probably. If I was like, I don't want to admit it, but see, right?
It's going to be really uncomfortable to stand up, right? That's an example, right? We're not supposed to sit there for 25, 45 minutes.
Right.
Okay? And it's really... We've become addicted. These companies, technology companies, software companies, are incentivized to make the devices and the applications addicting. They gamify them deliberately because that's how they make revenue. They make money. You can't fault that. But it is our responsibility to be mature adults and go, that is a drug. And we have to learn to put that drug down, right? Alcohol is fine, but if you abuse it, you have bad things happening, right? Drugs are good for you, right? I mean, pharmaceutical drugs, they help you, but you can get addicted to them, pain medication, and so forth. So it's in the same category as a drug, in my opinion. You have to learn to use it responsibly and understand the cause and effect on your body.
You said something and it totally flew out of my head. Oh, a lot of people have, probably in the last several years, started wearing those like blue light glasses. Is that a thing or bullshit?
No, it's a thing. It's real. It's good. It helps. And I highly recommend it. Like you want to watch the news, you want to watch a movie. Yeah, the blue light's certainly going to help you, right? From the blue light exposure. The mental stimulation, I can't help you with that.
Yeah, agreed.
You watch a horror movie before bed, I might not get a good night's sleep.
You might be thinking about the monsters while you fall asleep.
So there's common sense associated with a lot of this stuff. But at the end of the day, there are technologies and devices to help offset some of the negative impacts, right? And those are good things.
Yeah. So what I like to do, like towards the end of my shows, is that I do like a speed round of questions.
Sure.
And so, what's a wellness myth you'd love to throw in the trash?
Love to throw. That you can survive off of like 4 hours of sleep. I mean, that's the best.
Yeah. I'm a zombie and a bitch if I have that amount of sleep.
Hangry is a real thing.
Oh, that too. Like my husband called me a gremlin. It's like I need water, I need food, and I need sleep. If not, you don't want any piece of this. If you had 90 seconds in a room full of stressed out ladies, what would you tell them?
turn the lights out, put on some music, and let them just calm down. You can't tell anyone that's stressed out anything, man or woman. It's the worst thing you could possibly do. But if you can change the environment or take everyone outside and go for a walk, it does wonders. Honestly, the best thing that you can do is also give someone a hug. It's been proven over and over and over and over and over again. Hug an animal, play with your dog, play with your cat, hug your partner, your kids. That is one of the fastest ways of bringing your cortisol levels down, is human touch. And that's one of the things that the technology has taken away from us.
Yeah.
We're not touching anymore, right? In COVID, it destroyed us, right? You know, you can shake someone's hand or give someone a hug. No one does that because they were so afraid of getting germs.
Something, yeah.
Really, honestly, the best thing that we could possibly do as a society from so many different aspects is mandate that everyone hugs everyone when you see them.
Yeah. And what's one thing you wish more women knew about stress and hormones?
Sleep.
I was like, I could have answered that.
Sleep.
And what's your favorite way to wind down? Like after you got the day, what's your favorite way to wind it down?
I love to swim.
Oh, nice.
I love that. Just being in the water. I used to live in California. I live in Boulder. But just to be able to swim, be in some water, I find it very soothing, very calming. And it's a great way of unwinding.
Yeah, no, I like that. And what's one weird, unexpected thing you personally do to manage your stress?
Unexpected thing that I do to manage my stress. I don't know if it's unexpected because I'm weird anyway. I love to make people laugh. I mean, that is just, I find laughter is the cure for so many things. I feel like I'm Patch Adams, right? Treat the person, you win every time, right?
Agreed. I think you talked about hugging. I always tell my clients, I'm like, find some way every day to laugh. Pull up a YouTube video. I have a thing about when videos of people being scared, me, not scared for their lives, but someone's, startling you. That's my favorite thing to laugh at.
Yeah, just, literally laughter. I mean, those are the things that humans should be doing anyway, naturally, right? It's what we were born to do, is interact with one another. And I think that interaction is what's missing in the world. There's so much hate. There's so much violence.
Yes.
It's really good to come back to some basic humanity here and say hello, how are you, care, be outside and engage. And laughter. Nothing wrong with laughter.
No, nothing wrong with laughter. And I ask all of my guests, well, before I do that, where can people, one, find you on the interwebs, and where can people who are interested in Recharge, where can they find the supplement?
So Rebalance is available on rebalancehealth.com, and we are direct to consumer. We don't sell through stores. We try to keep the cost as low as possible. So we're anywhere from $49.99 south, right? So we offer deals where we give it away at 50% off and so forth, because we'd rather help people than, try and make the money, to be quite honest. It's all about helping people. Right. The book is available on Amazon. It's called Stress Nation. It pre-launches, so it's already pre-launched, but it actually starts shipping and be in stores nationwide and airports middle of September. And you can also go to stressnationbook.com. We have a website there, and you can buy in bulk or buy directly through Amazon through their website.
Awesome. And so I ask everyone, what's one thing that makes you feel magical?
My wife.
Oh, I love that. I've asked this question over 300 episodes, and I've never heard a dupe. I hear something different every time, and it's always that's a good one.
Yeah, no, my wife is everything. I love her with all my being. We've been together 25 years, and all the tea in China. Wouldn't trade it for all the tea in China. No way.
That's awesome. I absolutely love that. Well, this has been such a great conversation, Justin. Thank you so much for taking the time. And, you made it really simple. I love when my guests make it really simple for the audience to,
it's important. It's easy for people to walk away and go, oh yeah, that makes sense. And all the rest of the noise is designed to confuse.
Right. And I want people shaking their head as they're driving or walking, being like, that's me. I don't want to admit it, but it's me.
Yeah. It's not good or bad. It's just now you have more information and now it's up to you as to what to do with it. But there is no magic pill. It's like the GLP-1. There is no pill. Yes, you'll lose weight, but guess what? Now everyone's losing muscle mass and it's actually not that great for everybody. Yeah, you look skinny, but you got no muscles and you're going to have other issues.
I look at it like Weight Watchers. Like Weight Watchers is great because no one wants to, like you look around in the room, you're like, okay, I'm not the only person who's struggling with my weight. Great. But there's no next step. Like, where's the next step? Like you lose all this weight, but no one taught me how to eat, right? It's like, that's the missing piece is that we don't know how to eat. We know how to overeat. We know how to undereat, but we don't know how to eat.
Yep. Yeah. So there's always going to be a magic promise somewhere, but there is one we're always looking for, but there just isn't. There really isn't. It's called hard work and being kind of maniacal for yourself, your life, and how you want to live. There's no cheat sheet. It's just do what makes sense. I should take the salad with the protein versus the pizza. You just know that. And if you make the other choice, don't beat yourself up over it, but realize that there's a consequence associated with it.
Right. Well, this has been such a great conversation. Magic Makers, I would love for you to just, if this is like hit you over the head like a ton of bricks, screenshot this and let us know what was your one big aha. Hell, tell me if you said bedtime, something. But thank you so much for taking the time, Justin. And Magic Maker, as always, I love you and I will talk to you guys next week.
Thank you for listening to the Fit Girl Magic podcast. If you've made it this far, yay. I'm thinking you enjoyed the show. Let's continue the conversation on Instagram. You can find me at Kim Jefferson Coach. In order for me to keep sharing this message, do me a favor and leave me a 5-star review on iTunes. While you're there, don't forget to subscribe so that you won't miss an episode. New episodes are available every Wednesday. The Fit Girl Magic podcast is intended to provide you with tips, tools, and strategies that will help you make better decisions about your health. I really appreciate your feedback and your support. Thank you so much.